Knightline is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is Knightline 198 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining us in the studio today, Travis Dever.
How we doing?
And as always,
Trace Trylko. Hello, everyone. Who is QB1? Maybe we can get some answers from this week's guest. UCF's quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby is on the Knightline hotline. Our celebration of the 40th anniversary of UCF football continues with Jeff Allen's one-on-one with wide receiver Jim Taylor. Sound from volleyball and women's soccer as new seasons begin. And besides Boise State, which other schools would you want to see on future UCF football schedules? That's in Ask Knightline. But first.
oh boy, just 11 days from kickoff of the 2019 UCF football season against Florida A&M, and there's so many questions remain. Who's getting the starting nod at quarterback is chief among them. Dun, dun, dun.
Travis, you were at practice. Why don't you tell us? What can you tell us?
A lot of equal play. We did see numbers associated with certain guys taking the field. Probably won't go into that. But I think everybody took a pretty fair amount, equal amount of snaps. You saw a big division of really good players on all those. And I think when you hear the coaches talk about how good the ones and twos are in comparison to each other, it's hard to probably break down the amount of receivers and running backs that we have. It seems like we have two starting number one offenses, that's what it looks like because there's so much depth at those positions.
First of all, welcome back to the 1148 studios. It's been a while since you've been here. Thank you for everything that you do for us, by the way.
Love it.
Really, really appreciate it, and I cannot wait for the football season to start. We're doing our post-game show at your tailgate.
Can't wait.
It's going to be off the chain. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be crazy.
You got the bus ready?
Bus is ready. We added a RV this year, so we've got a lot of.
You're taking over the softball.
We're going to have. I'm going to be there the night before this year just to get everything ready. The bus will come over in the morning with everybody from New Smyrna. We'll be tailgating in advance now.
Yeah, with beer from Oviedo Brewing Company.
That was great.
Can't wait for that.
We got to meet with Oviedo Brewing with you, and we're gonna have their kegs on our bus, and it should be a great time.
It's going to be incredible, absolutely incredible. So stop by before the game, and then obviously come by after the game for post game live. We're going to do it right there, and we're gonna have a really good time with that. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm still a little bit nervous because everything is not like completely settled yet as far as like everything goes with that, but I will tell you as soon as I know, and I know that it's getting late, but you will know before it is time.
He sounds like a coach.
Oh, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the way that they're doing it too.
A little vague, not giving us all the details yet.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the way that it is. Unfortunately, things in this and in football are fluid at all times, and they, sometimes things come together right at the end, and I kind of like it like that, to be honest with you. So.
Or we're being completely lied to.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Well, one of the two. Yeah. No, I can get, either way, somebody's lying.
Let me ask you another question about seeing practice from this perspective and standpoint. You feel pretty good about what you're seeing on the defense.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, those guys are flying on the backside, and the line looked pretty good. And I think that'll be. I think looking at what we have on the safety and the cornerbacks, I just think I think those big plays that we were seeing against us probably are going to be limited. It'll have to be somebody, running up the middle or just a busted play here and there, which is part of football. But these guys are fast. I mean, they, as good as our receivers are, they had a hard time separating from these guys. So I'm really excited about that side of it. That was good to see. So normally I'd be watching the quarterbacks like the whole time, right? We actually spent 30 minutes watching the defense play, which was great to see.
Right. Well, I mean, we've said this before. Probably our defense is one of the toughest defenses that our offensive players will face all year long. Especially, I think Trace, you were saying earlier, we were talking about it, and I was like, "Stop! Let's talk about this on the show," because we were sitting here just shooting the breeze,
Well, FAMU and FAU, no disrespect, but I'd like to think UCF's defense is stronger than what you're going to see from those two. And you just look at the schedule, feel pretty good, especially about the secondary as you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'd like to really see them put a lockdown on those first two games and kind of make a statement. It's one thing to run up the score on the offense. I think locking those guys, those types of teams down, really will be a big statement for them.
When people get so upset about scheduling, they want a murderer's row. They want these top-flight opponents week in and week out. You need a FAMU and an FAU, especially with the defensive line. Coach Burnham has been talking about, rotating guys in, 8 different guys getting snapped. You want to see who may emerge. Yeah, you want every answer going into that home opener. But you know what? There may be some positions where there are still jobs that they're fighting for during the FAMU game, during the FAU game, and they need those 2 games of real live football, not practice on the practice fields, to perhaps emerge.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, for sure. So, all right, well, I have clips if we want to hear some clips. This is kind of the Jeff Lebby show, by the way. He was who we had on what day was it this week? Thursday or
Friday, I think.
Friday when we had people out there at practice, the coaches that they trot in front of you. So he was the guy, and then the running backs coach,
Coach
Tucker was also there. So we got those 2 guys. I think we'll do the Lebby clips now, and then when we do our second set of clips here in a little while, we'll do the Tucker clips. So let's start out with the Lebby clips. This is Jeff Lebby and then, of course, later on, Jeff Lebby's actually going to be on the show. So we're going to have clips from Jeff Lebby and then Jeff Lebby on the show. So it's the Jeff Lebby show tonight. So here we go. This one is Jeff Lebby on have the quarterbacks improved since the spring?
Absolutely. So all 3 of those guys have made great improvement, really have. But you think about it all the way through spring ball, all the way through the summer, fall camp. Now we're 2 scrimmages in. We've got a lot of situational ball then, so you get to put them out there and let them play. They've done a good job.
All right. Well, that sounds good, right? They've all improved. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You'd like to
hear that.
That's good.
I'm glad it didn't go the other way, but no, it's one thing that was brought up and we've seen a lot on some of the social media stuff was Quadri Jones, the size he's put on, and I can tell you right now, when you see him,
nearly 20 pounds.
He's ripped. He looks like one of our running backs. You put him up next to Killens and these guys. I mean, they are shredded. So yeah, he really put on some muscle and looks fast and lean and ready to play.
Well, it's interesting that you would bring Quadri up because that's my next clip right here.
He does a good job executing. He's clean. He's clean mentally. He's clean with his footwork. He's throwing a great deep ball right now and playing fast.
Well, earlier when we were talking, Travis, you said, well, let's not sleep on Quadri Jones. I mean, he's really the guy that gets the least amount of talk. He's not the senior grad transfer from Notre Dame.
Right.
And he's not the freshman phenom from the Hawaii pipeline, but he's really shown himself.
It seems that way. I mean, you see a few people talking about him. You hear his name every once in a while, but you watch him throw and you watch him run, you watch him execute. He really seems to understand the offense. So, I love the fact that we're talking about maybe 3 guys. You bring DJ back. You're talking about 4 guys that probably any one of them could run and manage this offense with the talent that's around him.
You completely shocked if Quadri's named the starter then?
I probably would be somewhat shocked, but I wouldn't be worried. I mean, I would just kick and play.
And if not named the starter, how do you utilize him? And do they have a designated backup? Or I think, Andrew, something you talked about is the situation on the roster where you see a lot of Orr.
Well, and I would fully expect him to be the guy as the backup, to be honest with you, because he's got the most experience out of any of these guys with this system. And I'm sure that he ran the practice squad offense as well last year. So, DJ would have run a lot of that as well before he was the starter. But when he was the starter in the last game and stuff like that, the last couple games, he would have been the guy that would have been running that scout team offense, and he knows what's going on. A year into this thing, he knows more really than the other guys do, and I would expect him to be the backup to whoever is the starter, to be honest with you. So, and then they can use him in ways like they did in that ECU game as well. The one play we saw him for last year, that one play was a touchdown. That was a 45-yard freaking bomb into the end zone that was perfectly placed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know what you're going to see. And I've said it all year last year that there's all kinds of little tricks and stuff that are in this offense that we never got to see. There's all kinds of, and I expect to see a lot more of that in year 2 with this staff. I just don't think they got to use half of the stuff. They didn't get it installed last year, I don't think. But I think that there's going to be a lot more trickery and stuff going on this year. You saw it with Frost's offense as well. That first year was pretty vanilla when he was trying to get everything in, and then the second year is when it really kicked in and you really got to see what that offense was all about.
You know what is one question that's really not come up in any of these media availabilities of Heupel, or at least I've not heard it, is the offense faster? Remember that was the question last year, and then going into that UConn game, you're counting the plays and the play clock and all of that. Nobody's really asked that question. It's all been fixated on the quarterbacks, and nobody's really been talking about the speed of the offense.
Well, I'm sure that it's going to be fast. It may be faster. There's no reason for it not to be, being the second year in there. And it was faster a lot of the time. I think that may have a little bit of there may be a little bit of a backwards thing on that with the new players. Maybe. I don't know, with the new quarterback situation. Maybe it was easier for KZ, I'm sure, to make it a little bit faster, but having somebody new back there besides him may be a little different. It slowed down a little bit with Daryl Mack when he was in there, but they've had all spring and summer to work on it. They knew all spring and summer, that KZ was not going to be the quarterback. So they've had a lot of time to plan, and, things should be pretty straightforward at this point. On to the next clip. Somebody asked Jeff Lebby if the quarterback position, the battle was set.
We're not quite there yet. Today was a big day. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. Once we finish out camp, and then Sunday get in here, continue to review things and look at it, look at the whole body of camp and make a decision. Hopefully at some point, but we'll be ready to go regardless.
All right, well, that's good coach talk there.
He may get asked that question in a slightly different way coming up.
He may.
Maybe he'll be a little more forthcoming.
Possibly. He may have been asked that question when we talk to him later.
Could be a little more forthcoming.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. All right, let's go on to Trace. You asked this question. It was about Brandon Wimbush and his footwork.
What have you seen from Brandon's footwork?
Yeah, Brandon's done a good job. He's put a ton of work in. But from a body position standpoint, it's a work in progress every single day to create consistent throws and create consistent body positions. But he's doing that more every single day, so proud of him.
All right, well, it seems like that he's doing what he needs to do. So we will see, man. I can't wait to see who runs out there on the next Thursday. Holy Moses, it's coming. Are you guys
Almost
ready?
into single digits.
Are we ready for this all to happen?
I'm already ready.
You've been ready since
my work schedule's been altered. I'm leaving Wednesday evening. I'm coming over Wednesday night.
You're going to be there 2 days early or a day early?
Day early, just to prep everything so we have no mistakes on the first day of tailgating.
Sweet.
Good.
Well,
yes.
That's
It's very important.
How big's your crew that's coming from beachside?
Even on a Thursday game, we should at least have 20 or so coming over. But we have we've through listening to Knightline and so many people that stop by and say hi. I mean, we have a great time over there. We've got a pretty good crew. I mean, I'd say generally 40, 50 people.
So you've got the menu planned, I'm assuming.
Actually, we have it. We actually have a bus happy hour tailgate meeting coming up very soon for me and the guys.
This was Night Bengals Ask Knightline question. Wanted to know if a menu had been set.
Oh, wow. Well, dang it.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Because Travis normally, we don't really bring anything. Travis just has, it all set. And there's always enough food for all of us.
What about theming for the opponents? Rattlers? You could serve
Tallahassee,
snake.
I don't know what to do.
Rattlesnake. It tastes like chicken.
No, I think first game will probably just be your basic cheeseburgers and hot dogs.
Travis is always a good cook out there.
We like having fun, coming up with some stuff. We definitely have a good time.
And you got that big pizza oven thing. You could bring something like that. You need to make that thing mobile.
That would take a lot of time to make pizzas one at a time.
Be pretty fun though. You could make them the night before.
Pizzas for 24 hours.
What are you getting there the day before? You could be working.
Can we make them the night? You can cook them the night before, and we can heat them up on the grill.
Holy cow! We'll talk about that.
But the beer's going to be cold.
Beer's going to be cold.
That's going to be the important.
And it's going to be good.
Yeah, Oviedo Brewing Company beer, man. I'm looking forward to that. And they're giving us a substantial amount of beer.
I'm excited.
What's your preference in the craft beer area?
I'm probably not one to pick a preference. I kind of love trying and just all sorts.
Open-minded.
I'm very open-minded, so I'm excited. That's what we talked to those guys about and trying some new stuff. And
I think we're going to stick with a pretty mellow one. We're not going to have a triple IPA or something.
It is really hard to play beer pong and flip cup with triple IPAs. I mean, I just don't know how you do it. I'd have people passed out all over the softball field.
Exactly, yeah.
So
we have to keep that beer a little
You're going to have
tame.
to be there another 24 hours to clean up.
We don't want to cause any problems.
We have to keep that a little tame to be able to do that.
Yes.
So, and then there has to be some beer there for shotgunning as well.
We'll have plenty. I'm not worried about that.
There has to be canned beer as well, so I'm really looking forward to the Oviedo Brewing Company beer. I'm going to be drinking quite a bit of beer, so looking forward to it. All right, another Lebby clip here. On the timetable for DJ, I think maybe Trace, did you ask this one too, possibly?
Don't remember now.
We'll see.
We don't, and he can do some stuff throwing wise as he's static, but we don't really have a timetable. But he's done a good job from a rehab standpoint. Hopefully, a little bit ahead of the game, but we'll see as it plays out.
Well, I thought I left your question on there. Maybe I cut it off. I don't know. But anyway, there's no timetable on DJ, it doesn't sound like. Poor guy. I hate to see that happen to him when it did. It's always horrible when people get injured, but then this was, this could have really been his breakout season and all that stuff, and you get injured the first week or right before preseason camp starts, and that's just such a bummer. He's such a good dude. So,
and the thing with that is there was some talk there. It was they saw him with his walking boot off, and so there was some talk around the dungeon and some places that got people excited that he may be back sooner than later. I'm not sure if he was at FanFest or not, but we saw him that morning after we had left practice. It looked like he was just maybe leaving therapy out of the football buildings. He did have that boot back on.
What kind of breaking news is this?
Yeah. So, but we see the things online. You're not quite sure. I'm thinking he probably just had therapy, and they were probably putting it back on to kind of get a little support after being through that. But that's something he's just got to.
He was at
takes a little time.
Amongst the most popular. The lines. It was good that they moved that.
Did
indoors.
You go?
I did not
no,
go. I
I
had
just
a conflict.
read the accounts.
Yeah. From what everyone has said, and great turnout. People
A
like
huge
being in the
turnout,
air-conditioned building as opposed to being outside.
Well, that made a lot of sense, personally, because it used to be when they would do it underneath the football stadium, it was ridiculous.
And sometimes it'll rain, and, you know.
It was hot. It used to be so hot.
What's so nice, though, following UCF social media accounts is to see so many happy Knight fans with their photos with the players, and every one of them saying how nice the players are, thanking them, the fan, for being there. And you pick up on that. Picked up on it at Media Day. You pick up it in the interviews. They're really just a good group of guys to talk with.
And the fans are important to the players. I mean, it's a big deal to hear your crowd cheering and all that stuff. gets you really pumped up. All right, somebody asked Jeff Lebby about KZ as well, and we may have asked him about KZ later on, too. You never know.
KZ's been great. He got great insight on how to play the game when they're out there. So he's great in the meeting room. He's great on the field and been really, really good for all the guys.
Where do you expect him during regular season games? Up in the box, on the field?
You know, he was in the box for the first scrimmage. He was on the field for the second scrimmage. So as we work through it, we'll kind of see what fits best and go from there.
All right, that was the other one. I knew there was another one with Trace interjecting in there. So,
well, I think it's an interesting question. They've talked about his role as being a coach-like. Where do they want him to be? Do they want him eyes in the sky, or maybe to calm down a guy or talk after a mistake is made or something like that, and have him right there on the field?
That's true. You never know what you could get run into and stuff on the field. I would rather him be safe in the box personally, but you make a good point. Him being able to go directly to, the quarterback as they sit down and be able to run through some stuff.
Well, of all of them, who has the most experience dealing with a variety of situations?
Yeah. I mean, they can still call up on the phone to the box, but still, it may make a little bit more. And you saw him do that even during the Fiesta Bowl as well. So
they had him a ways off the field.
But he was back there where the quarterbacks, were at. So, all right, well, that does it for the Lebby clips right now. So we can move forward, and then we will come back to some more clips from Anthony Tucker, the running backs coach.
Well, the media relations just out with a release reminding media that the final availability before game week begins is this coming Tuesday, August 20th at the Nicholson Fieldhouse. So one more opportunity. It says Coach Heupel, defensive coaches, which could mean Randy Shannon. And we have a little game, by the way, amongst the media. We try to guess whether he'll go 5 minutes. You take the over, the under. I took the over on his last. He went 5:05. So
this is
no
for
stakes. How many minutes he'll talk?
Heupel or
Randy Shannon?
Randy Shannon, yeah. It's usually pretty short.
The under is usually a safe.
Speaking of media releases, I haven't seen one thing about the pregame parties, the pregame concerts this year.
Good point.
Is there not any of that, I wonder? I mean,
I haven't even got my tickets yet, so I have no clue.
I know
Maybe
that's a little scary because my tickets are in there as well. Hopefully we'll have them. You told me that when you got here. I'm like, I was expecting you maybe to have them in your hand to give me, but
there will be a phone call tomorrow about 8:30.
Alphabetical. Maybe they're going alphabetical by first name.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people posting they
or
got their
alphabetical
tickets
backwards by last name. I don't know. So that's weird.
That's a good point.
I haven't seen anything about the pregame concert stuff.
Maybe now that they're sold out in season tickets, they don't have to offer any pregame concerts.
Maybe that was a waste of money because there wasn't that many people that really showed up. I mean, maybe when your guy was out there that one time.
when they had like Luke Combs.
Yeah. That was.
There was.
I went over and saw him. Yeah,
he's awesome. I love that guy. He's one of my favorite country acts for sure.
Yeah, I guess I was a little surprised that we continued with the country theme like 2 straight years. Kind of. That's almost what it felt like.
Oh, you're looking for variety.
A little variety. I mean, there's a variety of fans. Let's change up a little. But
so you want like the Backstreet Boys or something?
I wouldn't quite go that far. But maybe
take a little in sync.
There might have been like an intent maybe to try and get some of the students to come over earlier to get off the mall, to shut that tailgate down and get them to the stadium.
It has to be a name that will do it, though.
They want a rapper or something for that.
That would be interesting.
Like they want the guys like you hear out there at the practice. Those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's showing my age. I never know the song.
My son was with us out there for practice.
Yeah.
He's 11. He knew basically every song.
He knew all
played.
the songs.
Yeah. Trace sometimes is like, name this tune.
Yeah, I do name this tune, and people answer the question. I'm like, okay, you can answer anything. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
That's good music, though. Some of those tunes that they play out there, those are it's bumping stuff, and it's good stuff.
Never
it's
heard
loud
it.
out there too. They turn it up out there. That's cool because we never had that when I played college football. We had silence on the field so you could hear the coach. There was nothing going on.
Well, I think they
can
hear the coaches when they got something to say, even with that music on.
Especially Randy Shannon.
You were saying that
when he's not happy, he makes it known he's not happy.
Yeah. Well, this does not surprise me. about Randy Shannon.
You might have to do a little coaching every once in a while out there.
You could tell he's the more veteran, seasoned coach been out there. He's the more in-your-face, probably the closer to the George O'Leary style. Hype. Those guys aren't near like that.
With possibly some language that would be a little eccentric
I think he's just trying to get their attention.
Get the point across. Yeah.
So Tuesday's media availability with Coach Heupel. Let me ask both of you. Does Coach Heupel name a starter on Tuesday at quarterback?
I don't think so. I think that this goes down to when we see whoever run on the field, that's the guy. I think that's the way that it's going to happen.
I agree. I don't think publicly we're going to hear anything. I really don't. I think...
And I think the depth chart is going to say this guy, maybe even or this guy. So I think that that's how it's going to work, and it may work like that for a while. I mean, you never know.
So the countdown to kickoff luncheon, Thursday, August 22nd. This release says no media availability for that, but you can shoot pictures. Then the game week schedule, because it's a Thursday opener, is August 24th with a press availability, the 25th Sunday, the 26th Monday, 27th Tuesday, and then that's the last one. So 4 straight days of media availabilities in what would be a typical game week, but they have to adjust it.
You got your work cut out for you.
Well,
you're not going to be around, are you?
I got work to do.
I forgot about that. You have
real job one.
You have travel during that week, which really is a bummer. But okay.
So we will we'll be talking more about that. So maybe a Knightline now on Tuesday with that big quarterback announcement. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? But you can catch up on the camp reports, all of that on NightlineSports.com.
Yeah, and I think that there's some stuff that we haven't used. There was a lot of stuff from Media Day that we never really got around to using. And remember that thing on Spreaker that we created, the inside the scrum? I think that might be a good spot to put a bunch of that stuff. So we may have those interviews kind of uncut in there because there's a lot of stuff, and I'd like for everybody to hear that stuff. So you can look forward. That is exclusively on Spreaker, by the way. So you have to be subscribe to us on Spreaker to get that stuff. And if you haven't, get the app. Travis, you use the app, and you were saying that you love it.
I think the interface on our end, the user side, is way better than SoundCloud. I really like it.
Or any of the other Apple podcasts.
It's I enjoy.
Spreaker may very well be where we have post-game live as well. It may be.
Yeah, no, it's great. It works nice on our end.
That's all I can say. So if I was you, I would download that Spreaker app and have that available on your phone. It's for Android or iTunes. You can get it in the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. It's free, and you can go right to us on there. Just search Knightline. All of our shows are on there, and it's really a cool platform.
That's the nice part about it. When you go and you open up, you just add Knightline to the favorites, and then when you open that, you've got all three right there, and you can open it up. It shows you which ones you've listened to, which ones you haven't.
And then, we're going to put that extra stuff. There's another show on there besides the Suns and besides the AAC report and Knightline postgame live. There is
Breathe.
There's another one there called Inside the Scrum, and that's where I think we're going to put a bunch of that other stuff, and so that would be exclusive content for there. So you'll have to go there and listen to it. So that'll be cool.
Spreaker,
yeah.
Gotcha. So the AP poll set to come out high noon Monday. Coaches had UCF at 17. Where do you think the writers put UCF? What you guess? Same?
It better be very close to number 17, or I think a bunch of people are going to freak out.
Well, Night Nation needs a good freak out session.
I think the media can't stand us.
You say it with a smile.
Listen, let's
you just smiled.
Let's look at a few of the ones that have come out last week.
Brett McMurphy,
perfect example. Big question marks on us, throwing us every reason to not even put us in the top 25.
That's crazy.
And this is going to happen because these AP voters are SEC diehards, are Big Ten. They are going to push these schools. If we get ranked by them, I would be happy.
Well, we better be in the top 25.
No, I don't agree with it.
there's issues. Yeah, no, I know.
Well,
but
to your point, Dennis Dodd, not typically a big fan of UCF. CBSSports.com out with its predictions. He's got UCF third. Again, I think these guys do a lot. Third in the East.
In the AAC.
Cincinnati 1, the Cows 2, UCF 3.
Really?
Just
AAC's predicted order
and
of
he
finish.
was on this show, but he's not using his intelligence there at all.
I think they're just uncertainty with our quarterback
I
positions.
think, though, there is fairness in that uncertainty. But I agree with you. I think they get enjoyment out of ripping on UCF.
I would not think that they would be dumb enough to stray too far from the coaches poll, though, because it's normally very, very close.
I gotta think we're between 20 and 16.
Okay, so on their most overrated, they've got UCF. It seems like the party line is that the Knights are going to waltz through the season and into the AAC championship game as not only unquestioned best team in the AAC, but the group of 5 as a whole.
This is Dennis Dodd?
This is their overall evaluation. The writer on this is that Barrett Sally.
Oh,
You've churned him.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, you churned her through the what do we call that? Fire up the
shredder.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can do that again. Here.
Goes on to say that's not going to be the case with. Oh, look at this with Milton McKenzie.
What was her name again?
Barrett Salih, and it says
an
in
interesting
parentheses
name for a woman.
Also Dennis Dodd contributed to this paragraph. See, this is not just a sound effect, Travis. This is actual shredding. How about that? With Milton McKenzie and Daryl Mackout. They can't get their facts right.
No.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even reading the rest.
Yeah.
You can't get that basic.
Forget about that.
I'm not reading any more of that. I'm going to go with 19. I don't see it's higher.
No.
Yeah.
I'll go with 18.
18?
21.
Oh, you have us outside of the top 20.
Wow.
Lord have mercy.
Of course, listen to what we're talking about. We're debating the positioning in the top 25, which is nice to start the season ranked.
Well, at least we'll be in there, it sounds like. But, man, holy Moses.
So
these writers, they better get their...
Some of them are really just...
They better get their Twitter under control, I can tell you. Because
I can tell you what, those Twitter accounts... I'm learning how to be very active on Twitter.
You're fun on Twitter. You don't pull any punches. You're fun.
We have a good time.
Yeah.
But it is fun. I mean, the UCF Twitter mafia is no joke. I mean, these guys they come after the media.
They fact check.
For sure.
They fact check.
Yeah, it's a thing, man. People don't realize if you're not on Twitter, you haven't seen anything. I mean, because you can go after anybody you want on Twitter, and
until you get blocked.
Well, yeah, until you get blocked, I guess. But
you've been blocked a time or 3.
Only by.
Has Donnie Jones revived you yet or no?
I think on my personal account.
He doesn't know who. He's not connecting the dots.
Yeah, he doesn't know who I am.
Once he connects the dots,
yeah, I think he's on my personal account, but not on the
I talked to
Knightline.
Donnie Jones a couple weeks ago. He was over in New Smyrna.
Oh yeah, you were
scouting
trying to
scouting a little beach house, looking for something for himself over there. Vacationing, I think. So
suddenly you like him, right?
Living in DeLand. I mean, the guy needs a place to stay.
Well, we might get his address from you once once he gets something. We might pay him a visit.
So UCF announced walk-on tryouts August 27th. What's your eligibility?
0.
Nothing left?
I have none left.
Nothing.
Oh, I've got.
You guys
I got
have
thrown out my
eligibility.
senior year number. No,
You guys have NCAA eligibility left, though. You didn't play anything in college.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, if you were in college right now, you would have NCAA eligibility.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to make that walk on.
I have got none.
You're not confident. So let's see what this
How are
says.
the knees?
So participants must be current UCF students. Oh, well, all right. Got to remember that.
Yeah.
Got to be a current student.
All you have to do is go through the NCAA clearinghouse.
Must bring physical examination results. Okay. Must be registered with the NCAA Eligibility Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And must bring a copy of both sides of an insurance card.
Back to the knees. You two both have you can say that. You have 5 years of or 4 years of eligibility.
I'll do it if you do it next year.
Next year?
Let's do it.
We'll get killed.
What the hell?
You have to.
Come on.
We got to go to school.
You have to enroll though.
You have to enroll.
At least one class.
Oh, there's an ad drop date.
When's the refund date?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see some 40-year-old dude come out there and try to walk onto the football team. I would love to see that.
Oh, I like this fantasy though. That
Could be fun.
Yeah,
maybe there's a listener that's doing
You know how
this
they have those
just to do it.
You know how they have those fantasy camps and stuff, and then they have the women's thing here, but the baseball has the fantasy camps. Yeah. Why not have that for college?
What
football?
are you trying out for? What position doesn't get hit? Okay, I'm trying out for punter.
There you go, punter or kicker. You could do that.
I could try that.
Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah.
Hamstring.
Be awesome.
Be done there. Yeah. Couple of comments. Glades_Gator. Don't like the Gator part, but got the 5-star review. AAC report has been great. Charge on. Let's go Knights. So gotta like that. 5-star
That is
review.
picking up big time, though. I see the numbers on this stuff, and
he had Jeff Allen, had Tim Brando.
I know, but what I'm saying is his numbers are really picking up, and they're not just picking up in our normal listeners. He's picking up the whole the AAC. So that's what I envisioned for that, obviously, and that's what's starting to happen.
No, it shows great. It's a lot of good content. It's not a long show.
It's going to be a very valuable show.
It's not a long show, he says. That's what he likes about it.
It's a great filler.
Yeah, it's going to be a very valuable show during the season, though, to know what's going on with the other teams and to have some updates on all that stuff. Jeff is doing a great job. Looking forward to what he's got this week, and we'll have that coming up in a little while as well.
And our buddy Jim at J.A. Hadaway talking about last week's episode, number 197. Hey, guys, the latest episode was really good. You were the little kids this week before Christmas with the Toys R Us catalog. So there must have been a great deal of excitement about the clips.
The only problem there is Toys R Us does not exist anymore, so there's not a catalog. What is he actually trying to say?
I think it was a compliment.
I know.
I think it was a compliment. What will Coach Lebby share with us? He is ahead, and we have more sound from preseason camp. That next.
Travis, do you want to do your commercial just on the fly here, or do you want me to actually play it?
You should definitely play it. There's no way I can rattle that thing off.
All right.
UCF's beach. I know it.
UCF's favorite beach.
Favorite beach. Yeah. Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, time to go into our second group of clips here from Anthony Tucker, the running backs coach and the pass game coordinator now in his second season. He played at Fresno State and then kind of took a long trail here. He was last at Maryland before he was here as a running backs coach as well. Also at Arkansas State, Idaho State, Colorado, and then at a high school, I think, in Lakewood, California. So,
well, he's a smart guy, too. Did you read this last paragraph in his bio? He was on the dean's list at Fresno State with a 4.0.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. We've got guys, though, that like our coaches are guys that have been around and they've done good things at places. So, all right. Well, the first question I think I want to play from him, I liked this one. Somebody asked about Greg McCrae.
Greg had a great summer. He played last year, never heavier than 170, and he reported to camp at about 187. So he's put on, just in 7 months, he's put on about 15 pounds of muscle. He's faster, he's stronger, he's playing strong, he's a lot more physical. He's like one of the most humble, talented guys I've been around. And he shows up every single day, and he's the same guy from the guy before we put him on scholarship to now having the success that he had. He wants more.
Think about that last thing that he said before we put him on scholarship. Last year at this time, well, maybe a little bit before this time, he didn't even have a scholarship. And then he ran for over 1,000 yards last year. Like, it came out of the woodwork.
And if you went back to this time frame last year, were we talking about him?
No, not at all. Yeah,
no,
people were asking.
He was probably third on the list.
Yeah, Well, maybe even farther
Well,
back.
we're talking
than that
about
without
Otis.
a
We were talking
scholarship.
about AK. We were talking about Taj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And man, what a job! I can't wait to see him run this year.
Have you spoken to him?
Yeah.
He is really a nice guy.
Yeah. I think I went up to him after that. There was a game at home where he really turned it on. I think it was I can't remember which game it was, but it was one of the first ones where he really showed, and they really ran him a little bit. And I went up to him and I'm like, "Oh, so how does it feel to be our best running back?" And he was very humble about it, but he got a kick out of it. So I cannot wait to see him run. He's one of my favorite players for sure. Another guy that's one of my favorites is Otis Anderson. Here's what Coach Tucker had to say about him.
Otis has been unbelievable. Last year, spending a lot of time in the slot room and with the running backs, he's gotten that much better playing receiver, being that was really his first year of us asking him to do really understand our entire offense. There's probably not a smarter guy on our offense. He knows what everybody's doing. He can tell you who the quarterback reads are. He can draw up things on what's going on up front with the O-line. He understands every concept in the pass game. I mean, O's had a really good summer. He's had a really good spring. I'm excited to see him.
It'll be interesting that the way that they get to fold him into the mix this year, for sure, I think. Maybe do a little bit more with a screen or something like that. So be interesting to see. Another person that it's going to be interesting to see, especially since the emergence of Greg McCrae, is AK. And Trace asked Coach Tucker about, well, just listen to it here.
How do you want to utilize AK differently than you did last year?
I don't know if we need to utilize him differently. Just continue to add to what he's doing. Last year, he really his goal going into the season that we talked about was he wanted to become a better pass receiver, and I think he proved that. And he wants to continue to build on that. AK's goal this year is he's another guy gain some weight, gain some strength. AK's a lot stronger than people would think when you look at him. If you see him in the weight room this summer, he's pushing around some good weight in that body, so he's pretty tightly wound and strong. And so he wants to play more physical. He wants to be stronger and better in protection, and to continue to build on the things that we got going last year.
I tried to avoid a yes and no of did you utilize him the way you wanted to, and I went in a different direction. But I respected his answer.
Did he give you a weird look or anything?
I don't remember. I don't remember the look. He seemed pretty
I didn't see the
straight-faced.
video of this one, but sometimes I always wonder, of the looks that the coaches would give somebody after certain questions.
Well, I think
that was a bad question. It was a very valid question.
I feel like we and Night Nation talked a lot about the way Adrian Killens and Otis Anderson were utilized with the emergence of Greg McCrae. Now, he answered that question. I mean, maybe they got what they wanted to. Again, perfect regular season and the American Championship. So I'm not questioning and second-guessing coaches. I just see in Otis and AK tremendous assets. I mean, you talked about Bentavious Thomas. I mean, there's just so many people. And how do you distribute touches, and how do you really utilize these guys? And I was looking at stats a little bit earlier, and, AK almost ran for 1,000 yards as well. He was only 200 yards short and
of running for 1,000 yards.
I don't think you'd think that.
No.
I'll tell you, AK, we talked about some of the weight gains and the things they did over the summer. His legs, I think he looks bigger from the waist. I mean, his legs were defined. And I think looking back, he kind of we always said he looks smaller. He's smaller, but he's quick. He can get by. So they talk about all these weight gains. I mean, they're chiseled, but he was one we noticed at practice. Actually, we made mention of it. I mean, he looks physically stronger to kind of maybe explode and kind of take some of those hits, those guys diving through to get his legs to continue those runs. So something we picked up on watching him play.
Definitely look out for that. So I can't wait to see what this running back group does. I mean, it's just so exciting.
And to that point, you have so many playmakers there, it takes pressure off the quarterback position. And in all of those quarterbacks, you have quarterbacks that can move around. They're not just stuck in the pocket. So there are a lot of opportunities here to keep chugging along on offense, even with perhaps a drop-off, certainly from Mackenzie Milton that you might anticipate, but maybe you don't feel it.
Yeah, well, and then there's another guy that you mentioned just a little while ago, or maybe it was, I can't remember who mentioned it, but Bentavious. So here's what Anthony Tucker had to say about Bentavious.
How do you see Bentavious' role this year?
Bentavious' role, it should increase, with Taj leaving from last year. I'd like for Ben to get more involved in what we're doing, and so that's what we're pushing him every day to get better. And he's another guy who's put on a really good weight, had a great summer. Again, second year in the program, he kind of understands what our expectation is. Everybody's way more familiar with the offense, and we're able to kind of add and build on that, and Ben's a big part of that.
Do you guys remember that picture that came out of the running back group and Latavius Murray standing there with them? I didn't know who Bentavious was in that picture. I had to kind of figure it out. Oh my God, that dude is huge. Even next to Latavius Murray, who's an NFL running back we all know and has been fairly successful as an NFL quarterback or running back. And he is bigger than Latavius Murray. I mean, it's unbelievable the size of this guy. So they better have something for him to do.
Have we factored this in on the walk-ons, besides taking the class and paying for it and all that we might have to get in some shape?
Yeah, not as a kicker.
Oh. Well, I said that. What do you want to try
might have to cut the cheeseburgers.
One kick, my hamstring would be done.
Speaking,
we got 12 months to prepare and work out.
Speaking of kicks, they're doing a competition all year long. You're going to see this during the game of people doing field goals. I don't know if you know about this, but UCF put out a press release not too long ago, and it's whatever roofing company.
Yeah, the big sponsor around the stadium. I forget the. Yeah.
But they're sponsoring it's like $50,000, I think, or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong of the amount.
$50 million.
Yeah, but it's a big amount of money.
Roofclaim.com.
Right, for people that, and maybe you have the. Do you have the actual press release there, and you can tell us all about this whole thing? Because obviously they wanted us to talk about it if they're sending a press release
the
about
amount
it.
here.
It was a fairly large amount, though. I think
50,000 field goal challenge for a randomly chosen UCF student.
Oh,
see, this
students.
is another reason to become students.
It's only for students.
There you go. Yeah,
We're not eligible.
Nope.
That's not right. Why do the students get all the cool stuff?
Well, we're going to be students this time next year.
All right. Well, that does it for the clips for football. Hopefully, someone enjoyed those clips. I work hard to produce them. We all work hard to produce them. Anyway.
Did you see the Sons of UCF are out with a poll?
I did not.
And one of the questions, you haven't taken the poll yet? They did 10 preseason questions.
No.
And they're asking, they list choices. Let me bring it back up. I kind of wanted to get a couple of opinions. They're asking offensive MVP, and they list 10 guys. Who comes to mind for you? Offensive MVP.
A quarterback, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably a couple running backs.
Well, I mean, but who's your pick?
Oh, you took a picture of the nasty 1148 Studios on Twitter. I just saw it, man.
I couldn't get Travis in there.
I am sorry for all the stuff on the floor. I'm sure that I'm going to hear about that. I've been doing post-game live building.
So they list Greg McCrae, Gabe Davis, Brandon Wimbush, Adrian Killens, Dylan Gabriel, Otis Anderson.
I could see all those guys.
Well, that's a safe... who do you want, though? You got to take their quiz. I just took their quiz earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna say probably the easiest one to pick on there would be Greg McCrae, being the offensive MVP. What
about you, Travis?
I think Greg McCrae. I mean, I think he's gonna have just a big year. It's gonna be good.
See, I'm going to pick Brandon Wimbush because to me that's going to mean it's going to be a really great year.
Oh, see, they have more than 4.
Yeah.
They used SurveyMonkey even.
Yeah. Well, that's better than just Twitter. Now we'll see what kind of response they get if people go to the survey and fill it out.
And then defensive MVP they have on here as well. This one's pretty... I think this one's going to be Richie Grant.
His to lose with all of the preseason nods and all the watch lists.
I'm surprised, though, on this that they did not add Neville Clark on here. That's the one that, and I think I'm going to write him in.
Oh, there you go. They allow the write-in vote.
Neville Clark I believe, is going to be a heck of a player in his senior year, and I'm glad that he came back for sure. Big time deal on there. And then they have breakthrough player on offense. I'm going to say Sam Jackson on this one.
Interesting. That's an interesting pick.
Because he was hurt last year quite a bit of time, and I think that he's going to be incredible on the offensive line.
Was he listed, or is that a write-in?
Oh, he was listed.
Okay.
Breakthrough player on defense. I think Aaron Robinson is going to be a big player on the defense this year, so I'm going to list him as my breakthrough player.
Are you voting right now?
And he's on there. Yeah, I'm voting.
Live
as we speak.
voting.
Live voting. Best newcomer on offense. Wouldn't that be something like? I don't know about this one. This one could be very interesting. They list Dylan Gabriel, Brandon Wimbush, Demarius Good, Kevin Ahmad, Tony Gray, Ryan O'Keefe. I don't know about this one. I'm going to have to think about this one because
Ryan O'Keefe is that true freshman speedster.
Yeah,
a lot of good things coming from his side, from what we've seen and heard.
Demarius Good, is he the running back? Is he the guy that's the running back, the new running back that went to Lake Brantley? I don't remember who he is. I don't know all these guys yet. It's time for us to start looking though.
Who'd you vote there?
I'm going to say Dylan Gabriel. Shocking, I know. We'll see. Best newcomer on defense. Oh, boy. I'm going to say Cam Good because he's been talked about quite a bit. We talked about him last week. And then the next one is how many wins. Of course, I'm going to say 14.
You were correct, by the way, and Demarius Good.
Okay.
Lake Brantley.
Good.
Lake Brantley,
Yeah.
Altamont Springs.
Okay. See? I know more than I think. So wins, they had that. How many wins listed?
I think they list all the way to 14.
9 to 14, so I'm going to pick 14. Toughest game. This is interesting. They list Stanford, Pittsburgh, Houston, Temple, Cincinnati. I am going to say Houston. That game, to me, will be one of our tougher games. And then highest points scored. This one could be interesting. I'm going to say 63 plus on that one.
First game?
I don't know about the first game. First or the second game probably would be the easiest. Special teams on special teams MVP. I'm going to say Otis Anderson for that. They have Alan Curvin, Daniel Orbowski, Dylan how do you say Barnes?
Barnes.
Alex Ward, Otis Anderson, Andrew Osteen, Adrian Killens. I'm assuming that Otis Anderson will continue his punt returns, and I bet that he's going to be a lot better at that. So those are my votes. We didn't really mean for this to be a big, long discussion, but it is. So
at Sons of UCF on Twitter, if you too would like to vote.
Yeah, well,
and
those are my picks.
That they will be discussing their picks on their all-new episode this week.
Yeah,
I think the one position that we don't talk about, we don't see a lot, that we kind of picked up on being out there, the two tight ends.
Oh, yeah?
These guys are huge.
They are.
They're like 6'8".
Well, Jake is like 6'7".
Yeah. They're huge compared to the rest of the offense and even the receivers.
What did you notice did you see any special teams? Did you see any kickers kicking or anything
We saw all the kickers kicking, both rotate. I mean, everything. You don't see any field goal action. I think they go inside by themselves inside to do that. They come out to do
punting.
They do punts. Lots of punting. So you got to see the interaction on the punts with the kick and the guys running it back.
All right. Well, that's an interesting thing. I'm a little worried. I'm getting more and more worried about punting.
No, I mean, from what we saw, no issue. The field goal thing is probably the biggest. We don't know. We can't see anything. We don't know really who's even kicking them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the snappers. I mean, we didn't see really any mess ups or anything. So. All
right. Well, Knights in the pros here. Blake Bortles goes 7 of 11 for 62 yards and a touchdown for the Rams in a 14-10 loss to the Cowboys the other night.
Did you see where they were? They were in Honolulu for that game.
Was that one in Honolulu?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I like the idea of those exhibition games moving around the country.
Yeah, they should have one here in Orlando. Matt Wright with a
46.
A 4-yard field goal?
46.
Because you wrote 4.
That's a slight typo.
A 46-yard field goal for Pittsburgh in the Steelers' 17-7 win over the Chiefs.
I should have done that with a small font.
You
said that as if that were.
Jacksonville released Michael Klubiali after Kubes suffered a concussion. What a bummer there. Hopefully he'll get a chance. The XFL's coming up as well, so dang it. That sucks. I did not know that until I read that. I hate that when I read something.
You're not going to like the next two either.
Yeah. Raiders cornerback DJ Killings was placed on injured reserve. Good for the Raiders, bad for DJ Killings. I'm not a Raiders fan. Brandon Alexander remains on Winnipeg's injury list following a leg injury, which is a bummer as well. So, not good, except for Blake and Matt Wright. So, Matt Wright, I need to talk to you about kicking field goals against my Chiefs.
Exhibition.
Yeah. I love it that he's getting out there and doing it, though. Really bummed about Michael Klubiali. That's a bummer. But hopefully he will get picked up by somebody because he's a really good player and very good in the locker room, I'm sure, as well.
And well-loved by Knight Nation.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, that other football, women's soccer, continues to get ready for Thursday's home opener with Wisconsin. Sunday, the Knights drew with North Texas 3-3. UCF received 2 first-place votes in the preseason coaches poll, projected for third, just a few points behind Memphis and that school from Tampa. That's also small font. You just say it.
Did you see their rented indoor football field?
Yeah, they use the Bucks facility because they've lost so many practices because of storms, because they don't have the indoor.
I let them. They saw their post on Twitter. Or tweet. I reminded him it was another rented stadium.
You're a good follow. What is that? NSB Realtor.
NSB Realtor.
We need to talk to the Bucks. The power needs to go out or something in there.
Knights head coach Tiffany Roberts-Zahedek says it always seems to come down to the rivalry game.
I think since American has started, it has come down to that final regular season match against South Florida. We always play them in the end. They are our travel partner. So we always play our travel partner last, and with us in South Florida being, 2 of the top teams in the conference, it always comes down to that last game.
I'm glad they put you in a tunnel for that one.
This is her office.
It's a tunnel.
This is her office.
Lord have mercy.
More
submarine.
Of the one-on-one with Coach, 10 minutes of In the Tunnel this week on Knightline Extra. Wisconsin at UCF Thursday, August 22, 6 o'clock at the UCF Soccer and Track Complex. That is the first official event of the new sports year.
All right.
So
cool.
There you go. There you go. We mentioned Tim Brando earlier and how Jeff Allen just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
And, Jeff uses his own Twitter to promote being on the Knightline Sports Network, and he added Tim Brando, and Tim Brando responded, "I really enjoyed this. Thanks for having me on." And you know what I noticed after he did that? Because he's got a lot of followers. People started liking.
Yeah, Jeff's followers probably got a little kick from that.
Yeah, well, Knightline's did too. So,
Good.
And it was a really interesting. He bashes the whole cartel and the way the selection committee, and
it was a great interview. It was nice.
Yeah, Jeff does a really good job of that. So, and our look at the 40th anniversary of UCF football continues in just a moment. Jeff will have the one-on-one with the wide receiver from that first team, and you've been waiting for this one. We're talking with UCF's quarterbacks coach about the preseason camp battle to be named QB1 when Knightline number 198 continues.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You'll also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company, where the Knightline sports crew will be broadcasting live after the game. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, oviedobrewingco.com.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also, check out The Little Greek's newest location at 6536 Old Brick Road in Windermere, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
Our next guest enters his second season with the Knights, promoted to offensive coordinator while also serving as quarterbacks coach. He is Jeff Lebby, and he's on the Knightline hotline. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Good to be on.
Yeah, man, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. It's kind of a big deal for us to have you on, and I know you outside of the walls of the stadium and all that stuff, and you're a really cool dude, and really, really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, no problem. Good to be able to have a chance to get on and visit with you guys a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the hard-hitting question right away. And I know you've been busy. I know you've been in meetings a lot today. So who's the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I figured that one could be thrown out there early, but no, I mean, you guys know we're not quite there yet. So we've had great work. We've had great competition. We feel really good about where we're at as a unit offensively and as a football team. Still plenty of work to get done, but as we work through really this next week, we'll see exactly where we're at until we're truly in game week mode.
It's all good, and I knew that that's the way that you would answer it, but I had to at least try.
I had to throw it out there.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right.
Well, so, Coach, talk about the progress of each of these quarterbacks. What have you seen them do during preseason camp that has really caught the eye of coaches?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll start with the kid that's been here the longest, which is Quadri. He's actually, of the three guys, he's actually been here longer than anybody. Quad's done a really nice job. I've said it over and over. He had a solid spring. He had a great summer in the weight room, strength and conditioning, and has just found ways to compete every day and do what we've asked him to do. And I just think maturity has been a huge thing with Quad. He's a totally different guy in the meeting room and on the field than he was, August 1st of last year, which you expect that, but he's grown a lot. And then I'll go to Dylan. Dylan is a guy that got here in January. It was all new to him, and I think him just diving in the way he dove into the playbook and to trying to understand how we think about things on the offensive side of the ball and how we think about things at the quarterback position. His growth has been incredible, and it's for him it's been so much about just knowledge of the game and understanding the pace that we want to play at, how we want to attack defenses, and him being on the same page as us as an offensive staff. So that's to me where his growth has come in, and then with Brandon. There's been a ton of growth with just consistency throwing the football and his intermediate game, and that was something that he was committed to, we were committed to, and putting him in situations that could create some consistent throws in the intermediate game, and he's done that. So that's kind of a hit on all three of those guys on how their growth has been and where they're at right now.
With the news that Darryl Mack's injury going into preseason camp, how did that change how you went about camp with three quarterbacks in the mix?
Yeah. I think the way it changed was, we got down to where we were, in all reality, we were repping one less quarterback. Obviously, myself, our entire staff, the entire locker room was sick that happened to DJ, but he's going to be back better than ever. But that's how it changed more than anything. Just from a rep standpoint, it changed that part of it.
So it was going to be a battle no matter what. I mean, there was going to be a quarterback battle whether DJ was there or not.
Oh, at 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. But, I mean, he had a little bit of time in the system and all that. But, yeah, I figured that it would kind of be wide open anyway.
No, it was.
Yeah. So this is a question that really hasn't been asked to you in any of the media things just because it doesn't really have anything to do with this season, and it's one of those things that we try to ask the questions when you're in the media availability for what's going on at that moment.
Sure.
But I want to go back a little bit. What did you know about UCF before you got here?
Yeah, well, I had plenty of awareness of UCF, the logo, the program. Obviously, playing in the Fiesta Bowl. Back in 14, I guess, there was a lot of familiarity with myself and the program here, and I've said that since I've been here. I think I think what we are today is it's changing. It's changed a ton, but UCF been dang good for a long time, and you look at the conference championships that have been won here. You look at the bowl games that have been won and gotten to here over the last 10, 12 years. It's really impressive. So knew quite a bit about it because it was up close and personal out there at the Fiesta Bowl when I was on the wrong side of it.
Well, that's what I was trying to get you to say, because that was
Sure.
When I met you, that was the first thing I think I said to you. I was like, "Oh yeah, you worked for Baylor. Were you on that staff at that time?" So
yeah, absolutely.
Another thing is, I read in your bio, I had looked through it a little bit before today, and I didn't realize that you also were a high school coach in Victoria, Texas.
Yeah.
That's where Stone Cold Steve Austin's from, right?
That's pretty good. I did know that. We had I had a great experience down there. I was down there for a short period of time. Was down there for 7 months with a guy named Mickey Phegley, great friend, great coach, and we had a lot of fun.
That's like the height of high school football down in that area, right?
There's a lot of great ball. There really is. So it was, of course, I grew up, playing for my dad. He was my head coach in high school, and so grew up in Texas playing high school football. And there's a lot of pride there. And it was a fun 7 months being in Victoria, and before I moved on.
And where did you grow up and go to high school and play?
Yeah, I grew up out in a small West Texas town, Andrews, Texas.
Oh, okay.
So a small town out there, out by Odessa, Midland, that area.
I like the name of the place. I mean, it's a good name.
There you go. You got something in common.
How has it helped this season to have that cohesiveness amongst the coaching staff? A year ago, Coach Heupel's assembling this staff from all over the country to come together and replace the entire Frost staff. A year removed from that now, how has it been easier during camp?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, everybody knows what to expect from each other every single day. I think we got great relationships inside of our staff. I think that bleeds into the locker room. I think our kids see that. We care about one another. We have a lot of fun with one another, and we're serious about being really, really good. So just knowing what to expect every single day, I think has been outstanding. It's helped a ton, and been awesome. Really has.
Great. Hey, Coach, I got to see you out there on Saturday, so I appreciate coming out. That was fun. A lot of talk about the quarterbacks. A lot of talk about our running backs, the depth, the strength. I mean, I saw Bentavious Thompson out there. The guy looks like an absolute beast compared to last year. My big question, though, is the wide receivers. I mean, watching these guys run routes and just their size, the tight end size. I mean, how much fun are these quarterbacks going to have thrown to these guys?
Man, I think a lot of fun, and that's something else, Trav, I've said from day one, man. The great thing about our situation at quarterback right now is, one, we got guys that can do it, but two, we got great football players around them. We're going to be really stinking good up front. We got really good skill guys. So it takes pressure off of those guys, and that's that's something that is going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys go to work, because they put in a ton of time, and we're going to see it all happen on the grass come next Thursday.
Next Thursday, wow!
Yeah.
It's still. I'm so excited. I can't wait. But it's coming, and I'm just beside myself. So, would you say that this year's team is taking a step forward, even from last year's team?
That's absolutely the goal, Andrew. That's what we want to get done from a program standpoint. Is always find a way to move the needle in the right direction and continue to grow as a program. So absolutely, that's 100% our thoughts, our goals, and hopefully we can go get that done.
Right on.
I want to go back to Daryl Mack. We've been talking so much about the quarterback battle. I'm trying to understand, how does he work into the mix when he's cleared to play again? Like, what do you anticipate utilizing him for, and how does he work his way back in once he's cleared to play?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is seeing exactly how things have gone up to that point. That's the deal, is that right now I really don't want to speculate on what's going to happen or who the guy's going to be or what the situation is going to be when we get DJ back, because in all reality, we don't have a date that we know we're going to get him back. And so for me to think about that part of it, I feel like I'm doing the rest of the room a disservice. So we'll see how it's all playing out once he gets healthy and can get back out on the grass with us and get going.
A year ago, you go into the season with a Heisman contender in Mackenzie Milton. Now down 2 different quarterbacks. How have you had to change your offensive strategy, your playbook, to accommodate those changes?
Yeah, I think that's the unique thing about college football, just the turnover on your roster every single year. So you're always finding ways to create matchups to try to get done what you're wanting to get done offensively. You're on both sides of the ball, but we will absolutely have a game plan that is tailored to the guy that's going to take the snap, and that's who we are. We'll always put those guys in. And, try to put those guys in great situations to create predictable outcomes. You've heard me talk about that quite a bit. And that's what we're going to do. And with each of those guys in the room, each one of them are different, of course. So we'll tailor it to the guy that's going to be standing back there catching the snap and move forward.
So that's one of the things that I absolutely, and I've said it on this show a million times, it's one of the things that I hate about college football is the turnover. Does that keep you up at night sometimes as a coach, knowing that you're going to have that turnover every year?
It really doesn't. To me, it's exciting. It really is, because you get to be around more kids than you do anywhere else. You got the opportunity to influence 18 to 22-year-olds every single day, and with the turnover, it keeps you finding ways to be creative and put guys in good position. Different skill sets call for different things and different situations. So finding the absolute best way to use everybody, on your unit is something that we take a lot of pride in. And so I think it creates a lot more energy and a lot more fun, really.
So from what I've learned about you're a cool guy, and I would assume that you probably like the part of all of this behind the scenes as well, getting to know the kids and being a little bit of a mentor to the kids and all that stuff. Am I wrong with that?
No, Andrew, I love that, man. Relationships, it's what it's all about. I think that when you're around people every single day, if they know that you care about them, you truly have an opportunity to get the most out of everybody that you're around. And so I think relationships is such a huge part of this. This coaching profession, what we do every day. I take great pride in the fact that, man, I love coaching the guys in the room every day and being around the guys in the locker room and on the grass. And there's nothing better. I'm a coach's kid. I grew up around it. The relationships that I've created, all the way through high school, college, up until this point is something that I absolutely cherish. And I want everybody that comes in touch with, of course, myself and the program and the offensive side of the ball to feel the exact same way.
And that's a big deal with recruiting as well. I mean, because, you're honest with them when you recruit them. And then, I have a feeling that you're a good recruiter because you're a real guy.
Well, I appreciate that. I sure hope so. I do believe that kids and parents can tell the difference between those who are genuine and those who aren't. And it's been easy being here, in all reality, being genuine and being able to have fun and go recruit kids because, shoot, Andrew, I'm not having to get on a plane and fly all over the country. I get to stay right here. I get to recruit Florida. I get to recruit Orlando and Space Coast and be over there on that side of it. And so it's just been, it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. Taking a lot of pride in recruiting this area. It's been real good.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can keep you here with that.
I'll be here.
We know a great deal of the reputation of Brandon Wimbush on the ground. We've only seen these quarterbacks in red jerseys. What can you tell us about Quadri's running around ability and that of Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, Quad can run around, make plays with his feet. He made some incredible plays in the spring with his feet, and he'll do something, once every other practice on a scrambler, making a throw on the run that's really impressive. And I think, Dylan's sneaky athletic. He finds a way to get himself out of bad situations, and he can throw it on the run and make plays with his feet as well. He's absolutely a guy that can extend plays. So, again, all of them, like we've talked about, are a little bit different, but all of them can create with their feet, which is going to be a huge part of who we are forever.
How protective of the red shirt are you?
Yeah, I don't like anybody touching them.
Well, no, what I mean is red shirt rule. Burning the red shirt.
Yeah, every situation's different. Every single situation's different. So, depending on who the kid is from a maturity standpoint, what's the need, and where the whole situation is at a certain time in the season, I think is critical as you look at each situation, on its own, because there's guys that need the red shirt. There's guys that can go play right now. And I think every single situation is different, and we got to handle it as such.
All right, one last question, because we know you have to run. Talk about KZ a little bit. We can't talk to you without talking about him a little bit. He's made an incredible transition with this injury and all that. I mean, it's got to be hard on him, but he's out there every day with you guys. Just talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's more than awesome. He's been so incredibly positive. And he's had days that are harder than others, of course, but he has been so great with his teammates. He's been so great with his other QBs. And he's just been so good and steady in the meeting room and on the field, and being able to help these guys because of his experiences. And as proud as I was of KZ, through week 8, 9, 10 last week, man, I can't tell you guys how proud I am of him today, going through what he's gone through, having the outlook that he has, and, just constantly, putting a smile on people's faces. And man, everybody loves being around him, and it speaks volumes of who he is as a kid to the core. And love him to death. Proud of him for sure.
Awesome. Well, I consider him to be one of those genuine people as well.
No doubt.
His family's like that, so I can see where that comes into it. Hey, man, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We will be there on Thursday, and I cannot wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Appreciate all you guys do for us.
Absolutely awesome to have him on. One of my favorite people out there, for sure.
Just a genuine person.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Like I kept saying it, and I probably said it too many times. I was being a little bit of a fanboy there, I guess. But I'm not normally like that. But I absolutely, he is absolutely awesome.
And what you may not realize is he broke away from working Sunday evening,
do that,
still working.
Thank
in the
you
offices.
to UCF and to Jeff Lebby for letting us and making that possible. Very cool.
Great guest to have on. The Knightline Sports Network's Jeff Allen, who hosts the AAC Report, as we've been talking about, continues our look back at this year's 40th anniversary of UCF football. This week, Jeff's talking with Jim Taylor, wide receiver on that inaugural 1979 team.
Jim, we thank you for joining us as we look back at the first ever UCF football team in 1979. How did you land to be a member of the Knights by way of Gainesville, Florida?
Oh, well, that's kind of not a long story, but a story in itself. Well, I was a three-sport athlete at Beatles High School up in Gainesville. Played basketball, football, and baseball. By the time I was a senior, I was a starter in all three. The guard, I was a first baseman, and batted fourth. And then in football, I played tight end and wide receiver and free safety. So I was like a lot of 17, 18-year-olds after my senior season. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just kind of lost. Never got recruited by anybody. And so I was like, so my mom took me up to Valdosta State to see about getting to their baseball program. Because I really liked baseball. Didn't like football, Did not like high school football. Didn't mind the games, just the practices. Because apparently the coaches, they just let you do, they make you do kind of some crazy drills that has nothing to do with your position, So anyway, I went up there, and they didn't even take a look at me because they had just won the college little championship World Series or something, so they said they were full. So now I was going to go to the Marines. I signed up. I went down there, took the test and everything, and the sergeant kept calling me every day. My mom was not too happy with that because my dad was in the military for 32 years, so we traveled all over the world. And so she was like, she didn't really let me do that. So I had a cousin living down here, she's way older than me, and she saw a little ad in the paper that the UCF was starting a football team. So, I went down there. Well, I didn't want to go. I was like, no, I'm done with football. I'm good. My mom's like, no. Because I had quit when I was in second grade, and my mom's like, the Taylor boys always play football. You're not quitting. I said, I don't like it. She's like, no, your older brother Jack and your older brother Charlie play football. You're playing football. All the Taylor boys. So I did quit, but I came back in the third grade, and I've played it ever since, So anyway, went down there. My mom and dad, my dad's in the military 30 years, lieutenant colonel, and mom's an officer's wife, so they know how to proceed through situations. They just got out, and I said, "Yeah, Jimmy, go get the coaches." Nope, I'm good. I'm sitting in the back of the station wagon. I'm like, nope, not getting out. I'm good. I'm looking around. It's like, I don't know, man. It seemed like 1,000 people out there for me, all these grown men with beards, I'm like, big dudes, big guys, I was in high school, and we had some big kids, but these are grown men. I'm like, I am not going to be playing with them guys. I'm good. So they finally found Coach Jonas. They brought him over, and then Coach Johnson, he's like, Jimmy, let me see the dinner. They stuff out of the back of the station wagon. You just sit down and we're looking for it. We want you to come on out. And I was like, okay, Coach, So we get back in the car, and I drove back to Gainesville. And I was trying to say no to my parents, but then they were like, you need to put on a Coach Jones to go down there, I was like, I did. I told him I'd go down there. So Tommy Bland called me the next day and to get more information. I think it was the next day, maybe the next week, and I had a little mini camp, they called it, and I didn't know what a mini camp was. I drove down there by myself, and we met in the back of this elementary school, down at Baldwin Park. And they had all these 15, 20 kids running routes. And he had this one route that he loved. It's called a corner comeback. Mm-hmm. I was a wide receiver in high school, but not a great one, because we didn't really have a coach. I only taught 12 passes. I was a wide receiver. Played mostly defensive back, free safety. So he showed us how, because he was a guy that played, I don't know if you know Tommy Bland, he played in football league forever and was a receiver for Coach Jonas. Mm-hmm. And so he ran his little comeback route. He's pretty good as a route runner. And the first guy did a curl, another guy did a go route. And it's like he was so mad. It was I didn't say it was funny. It was kind of frightening me. I was like, well, dang. So it was my turn, And so I ran, and he wanted us to run the comeback, catch the ball, turn up field 5 yards, and sprint back and put the ball right down next to the center. That was, I was really good at mimicking people as far as, you show me something, I could do it. So I ran the corner, come back, caught the ball, ran up, did everything. He's like, "Can you do that again?" I was like, "Yeah, I can do it again." I did that, and he goes, "Oh, this guy, you run the curl," and I ran the curl, and it did everything. So then, a couple of weeks went by, and then, they had the camp, and they invited me to camp, and then I was on the UCF football team, and I made the travel roster that first year. Didn't play a lot, but I was on the travel roster, went to every game. So did my parents. They went to every game. My parents went to every game the first 4 years.
Wow.
Home and away.
Wow.
Yeah, they traveled all over the place. Almost in their little station wagon. But yeah.
So
that's how I came about to be there.
Yeah. So in your playing career at UCF, I believe you were the team's leading receiver in the third season. Is that right?
Yeah. I was a junior. Freshman year, like I said, didn't play a lot. Sophomore season, the fourth game of the season, I blew out my ankle, tore out my ligaments. I got back in the game. The last game of the season, I think I caught 2 passes that game. So that was before we even talked about redshirting. I should have redshirted that year because I had a medical redshirt, but I didn't know. I was just a kid.
And
so the third season, when I came back after the injuries, I was the leading receiver. I think I had the most yards in a game, most catches in a game, longest yard with 70-yard touchdown against Millsaps. And I don't know if I had the most touchdowns or not. I don't know, but yeah.
So is that 70-yard play the one you remember the most from your playing days?
No, well, I remember a lot of plays, but that is a really good play because my mom highlighted it in every little scrapbook, and she put the guy's picture. And she cut the guy that was covering me, pictures out, from their program and put it in as my, they take a lot of pictures of me scoring and stuff. But one that I remember the most, which it's really, against Eastern Kentucky, our last game of my senior season, we were 0-9 that year. I didn't play. The coach benched me for some reason. And I don't blame him. Looking back on it, I don't really blame him because we had a new coach. Well, we wasn't a new coach. He was the assistant coach the year before. And then he became a head coach the next year.
Yeah, Sammy Weir, right?
He came to me that summer, right? And said, "We're going to change the offense. We're going to run the wing T." I don't know what that meant. I was like, "Sounds good to me." He goes, "Here's," I had no idea. We were running the spread. We were running the run and gun. Basically, before it really became that, because Coach Jonas was a throwing guy. We threw a lot.
Yes.
So then, we were running the wing T. He said, "I'm going to show you some film. I'm going to show you the position I want you to do." So I'm there all summer working out and everything. So he shows me I'm in the H-back. I'm the guy outside the tight end, like not really a slot guy, but like more of a right outside the tight end, but in the backfield. And this guy would go in motion, and then he would go straight up behind the center and block a linebacker.
Yep.
Or he would crack back down on the defensive end. And I'm like, I ain't that guy. There was one receiver way on the outside, I said, that's me. I want to be that guy. I basically just told him no. Coaches don't want to hear that. They just want, they want to say jump and you just say how high. They don't want no answers, questions. I understand that because I'm a coach now. It's like, dude, this is what we're going to do. You're going to do it. But, me being young and thinking on that because I was a leading receiver, I'm like, why would I be like blocking a defensive lineman? Or linebacker. I want to stay away from them guys, man. Guys hurt me. I catch the ball right out of bounds, man. I'm not that guy. So he didn't like that. So of course I got benched. I didn't play a lot. I think I had 200 yards, 5 catches for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns that year. That's a real good game.
Yeah,
but not a season. So the most memorable play was against Eastern Kentucky. I got to bring it back to that because I had to bring that story up because Eastern Kentucky was our last game of the season. They were number 1 in the nation, in Division 2, I think it was.
Yep.
And they were 10-0 at the time. We were 0-9 at the time. And I think it was right before the half. I'm not playing, because I'm benched. And then finally he puts me in. I think we had come out of the wing tee by that point of the season, because now you can just do something because the wing ain't working. So we go in there. I get in there, and they had a play call, but Dyson was the quarterback. And he would have made the Dallas Cowboy roster. That was Danny White got hurt, and he was running fourth quarterback, and he didn't want to be fourth string quarterback, so he left camp. 2 weeks later, Danny White goes down, and then the next quarterback goes down. So he would have been the guy with the clipboard.
Wow.
In the state, but I know. He's a big kid, big, strong quarterback. I mean,
yeah, I went to high school with him, so I
oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, you know about him. Then.
Yes, yeah.
He's no joke, man.
Yep.
Good dude. Really good, all to the earth kid guy, and man, now, shoot,
yes.
Grandfather, great grandfather probably by now. So, yeah, so he's quarterback, and he sees me in there. He sees, because he's the one that threw me all the passes the year before. So he sees me in the huddle. He's like, Jimmy's right here. I said, yeah. He goes, forget that play. We're going to run the post. Can you get a post in this guy? I said, and, I'm always going to say yes because I'm a receiver and I want the ball. I don't know anything about the guy because I really wasn't paying attention to the game because I didn't think I was going to get in. So he's like, I said, yeah, I can run this. He's like, so I ran the post. We both went up for the ball. And I think I saw a film of it, and that wasn't really a great-looking post. I think I rushed my route a little bit because usually on the post I can get away from a guy, but the guy was right on me. They threw the ball. We both jump up for it. He falls. I catch it. 64-yard touchdown. Boom. Now we're either tied or up in Eastern Kentucky going into half.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't play another play that rest of that game. It was like, okay, so good.
Yeah, it's like what else can you do, right?
I know. One catch, one touchdown. It's all good with me. That's a good stat, One catch for 64 yards.
So Jim, when you look at UCF now and what they've become as a national brand, a team that wins championships, as you look back from when it all started to what it is now, was it conceivable then?
It took too long. I don't know why it took so long. Just if you just recruit out of the Central Florida area, every team in the nation comes here, except for maybe the West Coast guys in the Northwest. But most of all the teams in the nation come here because my son was a offensive lineman at Eastridge High School in Lake County. If you don't know Lake County, you don't even know what Eastridge is, Right. We got 52 Division I coaches come and look at them.
Wow.
They come here for talent. They don't come here for offensive linemen, obviously, but they come here for the special guys. But, look at all the kids that get recruited out of here, Like my roommate got recruited out for Western Kentucky, So I think it took way, way, way too long. It doesn't surprise me at all. Just in that first season, when we started that first season, it was a club team, of course. No scholarships, no nothing. They didn't even buy your cleats and everything. I had to live in the haystacks with 2 offensive linemen.
Oh gosh, the haystack! I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah,
they're still there. I don't think they call it haystacks, but they're still there.
Yeah,
I was out there. It's crazy, I know. But yeah, and so. That first year we were 6-2. We were destroying teams. Not destroying them. But as back in the day, if you win 14-6, bang, we killed them. Now if you don't score 50 plus, then it's like, what are you doing? You drop in the rankings. Dang, you could score now, but yeah, I think it just took too long.
But now that we're here, it's a pretty glorious time.
Right. Oh my gosh, you're kidding me? Yes, this is everybody knows UCF. All I have to do is mention I went there. And they're, oh, man, yeah, my daughter was there. My sister, my cousin went there. I know a guy that played on the team there. It's cool. It's very cool. Everybody knows UCF. And it's great that we're getting the Gator fans are starting to talk trash to us, because before they didn't, we're second, third, fourth thought. They didn't care, But now that we're taking some of their kids, and my thought is, and I've talked about it, because I'm from Gainesville, obviously. Gainesville. I was there since 6th grade up through high school. A lot of Gator fans, these guys are, and that's the kind of fans we need. We need guys like that, or women like that. They was just bleed black and gold. These people, they paint their houses orange and blue.
Yep.
So I've told them, I said, listen, the days of the Gators are going to just run over everybody are over. And it's not because you guys are any worse. It's just because the talent pool is getting less and less. Because back in the day, there was only 3 colleges in Florida to go to. You know, it's Miami, South Florida, FSU, and Miami, and Gators, right? Mm-hmm. There's FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. I'm talking about Division I top powerhouse teams. Now, I don't know, they're like, 12 college teams? You know?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I once, because my son went to SEU, you know, and that, have you been down there to Lakeland, to the SEU campus?
I have not.
Oh, my, it's like a resort. I'm telling you. It looks like St. Augustine's got cobblestone pathways, on-campus stadium. They have a fireworks show. They have a fire, so they got these giant fireballs come out when the team runs out. I mean, the stands are packed. I mean, standing room only for home games. It is insane, yes. AstroTurf Field, the stadium is like a walk from their dorm room to the stadium. I mean, it's that close. It's like, so, I mean, that's the kind of things that they're, you know, let's say you don't, you know, you're going to go to the Gators and you're going to be, oh, well, you're a 2-star or whatever recruit. That doesn't really matter anyway. But you're not going to play right away. You may play when you're a junior or senior if you make it through all the trials and tribulations. SEU comes to you and says, hey, you start right away. What are you going to do as a kid, you know?
Yeah. Well, Jim, I certainly do appreciate you taking the time to relive some of your memories of the first years of UCF football. And again, thank you for being part of our show.
All right, you're welcome. I appreciate you calling me. Thank you.
Coming up on this week's AAC report only on the Knightline Sports Network, we continue our team-by-team previews of the American. Frank Murtaugh will be here from the Memphis Flyer to discuss the Tigers for 2019. JP Gooderham from FearTheWave.com will discuss Tulane. And Dakota Gregory from the Tulsa World newspaper will discuss the Golden Hurricane for 2019. I'm Jeff Allen. That's all on this week's AAC report only on the Knightline Sports Network.
He's been doing a really good job with these team previews. So,
absolutely.
Again, you go back to NightlineSports.com and find those AAC reports, and you'll get all of those breakdowns on the teams he's done so far, and he's got a couple more to go. So,
yeah, very, very excited for what he's doing.
Well, the night scrimmage Saturday as preseason preparations continue for UCF volleyball. UCF coming off a top 25 finish in 2018. They're receiving votes, but sit just outside the top 25 in the AVCA's preseason poll. A year ago, the Knights were 27-4 overall. Hard to beat that, right? Again, 18-0 in the American, 15-1 at home. The Americans' freshman of the year, McKenna Melville, says she and her teammates are motivated by how the season ended when the Knights bowed out in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Definitely a motivation for us. I think everyone kind of has that grain of salt on their shoulder. They're a little bit mad that it happened, it ended the way it did, because we know in our hearts that we could have gotten better. We could have done more. So how are we going to prepare now to go farther? How are we going to prepare in order to beat that next team, in order to beat the big teams that we have this preseason? How are we going to prepare in advance so when we step onto that court that day, we know exactly what's happening and we know how to execute and succeed?
She sounds like she's from Minnesota.
Very good ear.
Really?
Eagan, Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
You noticed that accent. You could just hear it?
I can hear it, yeah. I'm big on accents. I like accents, so I'm always, and I ask people too. If I don't know the accent, I'm like, "Where are you from?" Like, I'm one of those people. Like, I'll hear somebody talking like another language or something, and I'll just walk straight up to them. Like, I was listening to you talk, and I can't quite like figure it out. Where are you from? So
good ear.
I'm that
good
guy.
Ear. Well, we will hear more from McKenna and UCF head coach Todd Dagenet later this week on Knightline Extra. We heard from @AmyBCBA after last week's episode, saying feeling better about our kicking game after we had Coach Toth and Dylan Barnes. She says, thanks, guys. Charge on. Interesting, we get questions about the kicking game in Ask Knightline, which is just ahead. And also this one, which road games are the Knightline crew going to this year? Knightline 198 returns in just a minute. Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Hey Night Nation, it's Adam from the Sons of UCF. Be sure to check out our show every Wednesday only on the Knightline Sports Network. Now, back to two guys who probably won't be Cow of the Week nominees, Andrew and Trace.
Ask a Knightline is brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Chad is a UCF alumnus and diehard Knights fan. Chad Barr Law handles auto accident, slip and fall, and personal injury cases. Call Chad today at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation. That's 407-599-9036. Armor up and call Chad Barr Law today.
Time again for Ask Knightline, answering the questions you throw our way on our Facebook page or via Twitter at hashtag Ask Knightline. How about we start with one from Facebook? I'm going to change up the order. Chad Barr wants to know who's the kicker. See a theme develops here at We Are UCF Family, asking about, he says, I see multiple conversations with regard to quarterbacks. I also see many discussions about the defense. My biggest question, where is our kicking game? Where do we stand at the kicker, punter, long snapper, and holder positions? Really, really do not get to see
So Chad Barr,
any of that.
Who sponsors Ask Knightline,
Wants to know.
Ask us a question on Ask Knightline.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
When I've spoken to people out at practice, they talk about Obarski, the freshman, having just a cannon of a leg, and looking to use him maybe on kickoffs is where we might see him. Some issues with the trajectory of the ball on the field goals and extra points. This seems to favor Dylan Barnes, who we had on last week.
Right.
I had requested as a post-media availability interview. He's the senior, but don't be surprised if you see multiple kickers, especially against FAMU. So you have a true freshman, too, in that. Connor Piazza, I believe is the last name.
Two true freshmen.
Yeah.
Orbowski and Piazza. Yeah.
Well, if we score a bunch of touchdowns, they should get a lot of practice.
Yeah. Get them both out there.
And
get
then,
all of them. Heck, Trace, you could probably go out there and kick a field goal.
Well, that's a year from now.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll do it if you do it.
I'll let you know.
No, you can't bail on me if I go out. I don't know. Just saying, I do it. But so it looks like the snapper looks pretty good with Ward, and it'd still be interesting about punter. And this is a key part of the game. I mean, we've taken this for granted the last couple of years. I mean, Matty Ice has been automatic, and Matt got us out of tough spots. And Coach Toth has talked about this. You can only simulate so much in practice. When your cleats are on the back of the end zone line, which you hope, again, doesn't happen very much, how does the kid respond? How does the kid respond on a Friday night in Cincinnati if he's got to kick the game-winning field goal? Now, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Because what's more interesting about this question than anything is...
Hopefully we'll be far enough ahead that they won't have to worry about that.
Well, that's two things, though. And we were talking about this CBS Sports projection. We're talking about the changing quarterback. Does that mean the offensive output, which will still be strong, but does it drop from Mackenzie Milton? So instead of scoring 50 points, do you score 38? Does the defense give up 33? Are you in a close game in the fourth quarter now?
Let's hope not.
Let's
hope not.
So where a field goal or an extra point,
I wonder if
could be more consequential than it has been for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, well, if you don't have a good kicker, you call some different plays too, and you go for it on fourth down sometimes, and you may do some different stuff. So we'll see about that. That would be interesting. I hope that we never have to see that, personally.
I think we will see a lot of fourth down plays gone for, though.
Yeah.
I'm
good with that. I love it.
Which
when
may
we
not
go
be a
for it
reflection on their
down.
confidence in kickers.
No.
It just may be
but
just
it
go
could
for
be.
it.
Yeah, it could be.
And I think you may see a theme of that as a question that comes up throughout the season if that starts to happen. So those are the kicking ones. And then we've got the quarterback questions, of course, at Zombie X Night. One thing and one thing only.
Lebby.
Who is QB1?
That was all I could do was ask Lebby. I asked him straight out. So, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you on that.
Can I turn this around a little bit? You'd said this is really with Matt coming back. It's 4 quarterbacks. You can't play 4 quarterbacks.
You could.
What are you gonna, could you play
split them out as wideouts or running backs or something?
Do you see a situation where they might rotate quarterbacks?
If the situation makes it, I mean, you got to have your backups ready to play as well. So
I'm pretty open-minded to anything.
There's garbage time. You're going to see quarterbacks. So.
I think Dylan. I gotta think their goal is to have Dylan redshirt this year. Get him his 4 games. Get him some time. He's probably the most. He's definitely better technically, but managing the games, understanding what's going on, feeling the pressure, learning how to deal with those things. I mean, you could see it out there. You could see how well he throws it and how technically good he is.
Okay,
there's a lot to it.
If
Taking the hits, there's so many things that come with it. He hasn't been hit yet.
If he's not the starting quarterback, I think that you have to get him in some situations that aren't just garbage time, though, as well, where the kids are actually out there playing full on, not against the second-team defense. You know, you got to get him in there. Because he's probably the future of UCF football as a quarterback.
To your point, then, let's just, sake of argument, say Wimbush is named the starter against FAMU. Do you want to see Dylan in that game? Or maybe you play Quadri in that game a little bit more and not put Dylan in that game where you might expect to be up big and early?
I don't know. I mean, if Wimbush is the quarterback, I expect to see one of the other quarterbacks at some point, obviously.
So for game 1, you think you'll see 2 quarterbacks, but you won't rule out 3.
I wouldn't rule out 3. I mean, it just
So do you want to see
on,
Dylan in mop-up duty in the second half against FAMU up 40?
No.
I mean, if they're trying to redshirt him, I don't think that's the situation.
He can play 4 games, so maybe there's a better place to play
But I would
him.
like to see him in there against first-team defenses and not garbage time for those 4 whatever games. You never know. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen that injuries happen, unfortunately. So there's got to be somebody that is going to be a backup quarterback, and you never know if you're going to see that guy. So that person as well needs to have some actual game experience. And nobody besides Brandon Wimbush right now has actual game experience.
And we have no clue how long it's going to be till DJ's back.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
We have nothing.
No.
So, I mean...
Boot on, boot off.
There's still lots of questions as far as that go. There are still lots of questions.
2 questions here. Drew Belani at DBelaniNYC. Will teams try to use the LSU game as a blueprint to gash the D-line? I'll pair that with at JTizzle521. That's a fun Twitter name. Any update on Cam Good's eligibility, and how are some of the new D linemen fitting into the rotation, like Morris Brash? Any breakout candidates on the D line to look out for? I remember Tournier having a strong spring game.
Well, Drew Belani, by the way, I have to say, is the sponsor for Sons of UCF, and thank you to him for doing that. What was the question again?
Well, he was asking about, will teams try to use the LSU game as a blueprint to gash the D-line, and then Jay Tizzle was asking about the D-line. And all we have to go on this is, really to me, is Coach Burnham being very candid, I thought, during his media availabilities. You know, he's talked about this being young guys. What was his? He's got a good line where he says it's like drinking water out of a fire hose with some of these guys trying to take it all in. And he said he doesn't see a big difference. And again, that may be what he's telling the media between first, second, and third units. And he says, well, I don't know what to take from that. Is that they're all good? Like,
Or
Travis,
they're
you've been
all
saying
not good.
over and over again about the depth you see. Like, there's not a big difference when they're rotating guys out. And he says they're getting reps where 8 guys are getting reps. So
yeah,
I think a couple of those, and he referenced the committee approach during his availability earlier in the week too.
Yeah.
So that's what we don't know, and I don't know that we're going to learn a lot against FAMU.
Well, I don't think that the offensive lines of a lot of these schools will be able to handle our defensive line, though, like LSU did, because those are elite offensive linemen.
Except Stanford, man. Stanford's a run team.
They're a run-heavy team. They are.
That's one where you're glad they're playing at 3:30 on a hot Saturday afternoon in September.
Couldn't be hotter.
And hopefully they're wearing those bright red uniforms.
So Cam Good, no word on eligibility yet.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no word yet.
No.
Let's see. L Bar 87. What will it take for UCF to come out with authentic former player UCF jerseys? Bortles, Griffin Twins, Marshall. Well, you could.
Can they do
pair
that?
I don't know if you can.
I don't know if they.
I think it's NCAA rules, right?
Yeah,
you
I don't
can't
think
profit.
that they can do that. Yeah, because that would be using the likeness of a player. Sorry.
But better
Easy
question
for
is,
you to
when
say.
will there be even more and more accessible and better varied merchandise?
Yeah, there should be, but I don't think by NCAA rules, I don't think that you can make player stuff. But maybe since they're in the NFL now or whatever, maybe you could, but I don't know
think it's
if you can
NCAA
do that.
rule.
Yeah, I don't think that you can do that.
At BBLOUT, taking Boise out of the picture, are there any out-of-conference G4 games you'd like to see the Knights schedule? BYU again. I thought BYU was a fun game.
I don't consider them G4, though. I consider them a Power 5 independent. I mean, they're a good enough team, and they've been around, and they have the money of a Power 5 team. They just happen to be independent. I don't consider, just like Notre Dame, I don't consider either one of those to be a G4 team.
I think the answer to this question is the same way people answered when they talked about the American expanding. Army, Air Force. I'd like to see San Diego State.
Yeah.
Just because that's a fun
The
place
service
to go.
academies as well, like you said. That's what I was going to say. Fresno State, maybe? Something like that.
I just don't know whether,
I'd like to see the top tier of the G4.
Yeah, Colorado State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. UCF gets ripped on this FIU scheduling because people want those big games, but Danny White's been pretty clear that he wants one of those group of 4 teams in that slot, so why not play the best of them all over the country?
I think the FIU game is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I think we're close. Kids know each other. Families know each other. They're able to travel. I mean, is it big TV money? No, but the school also doesn't spend a fortune to go.
Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan would be ones that, Western Kentucky. Some of those that are.
Here's the flip. How well will we travel to some of those games?
Not as well as Miami.
Yeah.
There's kind of a flip to it.
And there's so many alums in South Florida.
Right.
Real South Florida, not Tampa.
Yeah, I know FIU's not got the brand yet, but there's a lot of talent down there.
They could win Conference USA this year under Butch Davis.
Yeah.
And if they do, then they'll have no arguments.
Yeah.
They're not.
We're
We're a year out from that, but they win Conference USA, then stop ripping on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shane on Facebook wondering if the softball RV parking is still first come or assigned spaces. Do you know that? Oh, you don't even have tickets yet. What do you know?
Yeah, they
you don't know
haven't
anything
yet, but my understanding is it's not assigned parking. It's first come, first serve. That's why I'll be there the night before.
So is your goal, are you trying to get in, or are you trying to be right on the corner?
Well, we haven't seen the layout really yet.
I saw something on that map. They had it a little bit.
I think until we see it the
They
first
had
day.
RV all the way around the edge, and then
Right.
in the back there a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely want to be
On the edge,
on
right
the edge,
there.
on the main
Towards
on
the front.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's up to you. You're parking the damn thing, but
we definitely would rather be up there.
Yeah, towards the front. Yeah.
At Night Bengal was asking earlier, themed tailgate food. What would you make for Stanford and any other games you want to share? So, themed tailgate is what Night Bengal's looking for.
Well, there was
I think beer's a theme. I mean,
well,
yeah.
Haven't looked that far into the schedule yet.
What do you suggest, Night Bengal? See, now this one at MU_PI_72 says tri-tips, California barbecue and fish tacos. So people are
California barbecue?
People are throwing, I don't know what that means.
What else do
Fish
they make?
tacos.
What do they make? Fish tacos is kind of like a Southern Cal thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know. California. Do too
Stanford.
much.
Oh, yeah, Stanford. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's a really, San Diego.
I've never heard of
fish
California barbecue.
Tacos. Yeah, what makes that different?
But we do have fun doing it. It is a good time to try and piece together. Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, you never know. Give us some suggestions.
Maybe we'll throw that out. You want that out as a question? I'll copy you in on a Twitter post.
Send some suggestions for us.
What would you like Travis to cook?
You never know.
For game.
Travis is the cook, so.
One. This may be one of the best Twitter handles ever at USF Sucks. Which road games are the UCF Knightline crew going to this year?
So far, we're doing FAU. so far. I have considered going to New Orleans for the Tulane game, but at this moment, definitely FAU. And that's really, besides as the whole thing anyway. So I don't know if you have some. Well,
the Sons of UCF both are going to be at the FAU game.
Yeah.
Adam and Mike.
Yes.
So this is a colliding of everybody.
It'll be
huge.
It'll be cool.
We've got the RV coming down to that too.
Yeah.
So we're not bringing the bus.
And we're doing post-game live.
It'd take a couple of days for the bus.
No bus ride.
Yeah, no. It would take, I don't know if it would even make it down there.
It would, man. We did some big upgrades this year.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, all new fans and belts and
Really?
radiators. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to replace any belts on it this year.
We fixed that problem.
All right.
It was a
good.
bad fan clutch.
Yeah. Well, last year.
That'll get you every time.
Last year I had
what
to.
the hell is that?
I got some grease on my white football jersey because I had to come and
You had to rescue us.
rescue you guys. It's good times, though. All right, well.
And the two questions I skipped off the top, do we want to answer this week with Travis
No.
here, or do we want to punt still?
No.
This is
Not answering
at Brian
those yet.
Peterson, which of
That's
your
for next
best
week.
guesses for win-loss? And Jessica, our friend Jessica, wants to know our prediction.
Next week.
Hold off.
Everybody's been asking that. They can't wait to hear our predictions. But, I think I've alluded to my prediction anyway.
That's shocking. I don't know what you're going to do, but
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you, as always, for your questions. Hashtag #AskKnightline on Twitter or, of course, our Facebook page. Send them in anytime.
And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports.
All right, men's basketball takes 2 of 3 on its road trip through Spain. Includes a 72-65 win over the Catalan All-Stars. Quick note, Brandon just posted that we have a new verbal commit, 3-star, 6'9" center out of St. Petersburg, Florida, for the basketball team.
Yeah, Brandon from UCFsports.com.
So this is a high school kid.
Yes.
This is not a grad transfer. This is not a JUCO kid. This is an actual high school kid.
Class of 2020, 6'9", 240 pounds, and a whole list of
big dude too.
Big dude.
Besides just tall.
Lots of offers, including Florida, Miami, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Boston College.
I like that.
Nice.
Toe-to-toe. There we go. Men's soccer preseason 15th ranked Knights. By the way, they're the highest ranked team on the UCF campus right now. They welcome 10 new players as practice gets underway. Men are set for a pair of exhibition matches. Eastern Florida State at UCF Monday, August 19th. FIU comes to UCF Saturday, August 24th. Both matches scheduled for 6 p.m. first kicks at the UCF Soccer and Track Complex.
And finally, thanks for the memories, Jerry O'Neill, who retired from the UCF football broadcast crew after 24 years of patrolling the sidelines for the Knights. I'm going to miss the mustache. Welcome to former UCF defensive end Legier Doozable, who joins the radio team. I'm assuming maybe he's doing sideline. I don't know. Maybe in the booth. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they had something out about that. Scott Adams is going to still continue to be a part of the broadcast, so I guess they're still working through how they're going to use all of them and all of that. But,
alrighty.
Jerry O'Neill, staple. 24 years. UCF's football team's just 40 this year, so that's a long time he's with the Knights.
Absolutely. All right, well, this has been a good show. Thank you very much, Travis, for joining us.
Travis, Jeff Lebby.
Yeah.
That's quality
Absolutely.
programming right there.
Good
Great
stuff.
time. Good stuff.
All right, this has been Knightline 198. I'm Andrew Phegley.
You're
Travis Dever.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold charge right through the line. Victory is our cry. B-S-E-T-O-R-Y. Tonight our Knights will shine. UCF, Knights. UCF, let's go Knights. UCF, charge on to the field.